Welcome, everybody. A quick segment right here. This is brought to you by the Rhode Island Education Collective. I'm Victor Baez. This is Club Ambition Podcast. And we have here the founder and the CEO. And also, he brought with us a special guest, an actual student here in Rhode Island. Victor, introduce yourself to the people. Another fellow Victor in the studio today, guys.
Yeah, good to be with another Victor. I'm Victor Capellan. I'm the founder and CEO of the Rhode Island Education Collective.
Yes, sir. And introduce who is to the right of you, Victor, with us today.
Yeah, I'm excited to have Kayden Xavier, who is a senior at the Met High School here in Rhode Island. So, Kayden, go take it away.
Hi, my name is Kayden. Like Victor said, I'm a senior at the Met High School. And I don't know what else to say.
Listen, is this both of your first podcast ever? Both of you?
Yeah.
Guys,
It
Kayden,
is.
and then
It is.
yeah. Listen, it's you chose the right one. I'll say that much. But talk to people real quick, right? You are the founder and the CEO of the Rhode Island Education Collective. Victor, talk to the people about your story when it comes to you're attached to this Rhode Island brand company now, and especially something that's very significant because it has to do with the education of the future generation of the state. How did that start? Like, what's your Rhode Island story? Were you born here? What's your history here in Rhode Island? For those who don't know.
Yeah. So let me start, and just say, Victor, I came to this country when I was 12 years old. I came to Roger Williams Middle School.
Wow.
That's where I started. And then went to Central High School. And from Central, I started to see that there were different opportunities, different paths, right, for a lot of us. And some of us got lucky, is the way that I'm going to put it. And I ended up with a group that went to the University of Rhode Island through the Talent Development Program.
Yep. TD.
So
just
TD,
like me.
TD
Yep.
Nation.
Yep. Just
Right?
like
So
me.
TD Nation gave me that opportunity. And it was there that I saw that there was so many other students that also had tremendous potential, that had tremendous promise. But for some reason, they were not there, right? And that's when I started to look and figure out, so what's happening in our education system? My mom came here to bring my brother and I for a better future from the Dominican Republic. So when we left DR, we knew we were like, we're on a quest for something. And when I got to URI, I said, I have to focus. I have to dedicate my life to helping others.
Yes.
And it was from there that I started really going into community service, education.
Yes.
I got a chance to work for the Providence schools, got a chance to work in New York as a principal at a high school. I came back to Massachusetts and worked there. Then I came back home to Rhode Island and worked a number of years in Central Falls. And I was able to make it to become the superintendent in Central Falls, to also be the senior advisor to the commissioner at RIDE. So I had a lot of opportunities
Wow.
in this story. But something kept on missing. Everywhere that I was, there was something. There was that half of the students that weren't making it for whatever reason. And I decided to go back and rededicate my work with community, with families, with students. And that's where the idea of the Education Collective came out, to go back and being with the community, to do this work a little bit from the outside, to support the system, but also to put some pressure on the system as well.
And going back to your time, right? You were formerly a superintendent at Central Falls, right? Schools at Central Falls. Talk about that experience and what was the best and worst things that you've experienced being a superintendent here in Rhode Island at Central Falls. Especially, I want to say, because for those who don't know, Central Falls is known as one of the poorest, if not the poorest, cities in Rhode Island in the state. So a lot of the students there, shout out to them. I've had I've had moments with them, teaching them how to do podcasts out there. What was that experience with you as the superintendent over there at Central Falls?
Yeah. One of my best educational, professional experiences, but also one of my most difficult, personal and professional. And I
Wow.
say that, Victor, because
Why?
I saw the interest, I saw the dreams, I saw the drive of students and families who wanted, something better, something bigger. They were putting in the work, but somehow the system was letting students down. And I said this a number of times. I used to tell people,
Yeah.
it's not you, it's me. It's the system that's not providing something. There's a missing piece. There was something that I always felt that we were not doing enough.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I have to say that I wish I was in Central Falls longer. I wish that I stayed there longer, because the work that people are doing in Central Falls is great. The dreams there are great, but somehow the system just not, measuring up to the potential of the students there. And so that's why I say it was difficult, and it was, heart wrenching in many times when I saw the potential of some of our students, and we were not able to provide for them what they needed. We
Yes.
were not able to really meet the moment for the students, and so it was tough. I still have, a special place for Central Falls always, and I say that not in a way where it's like, oh, pobrecito Central Falls. No, not like
Hmm.
that,
Hmm.
because they just have tremendous promise, tremendous potential, and we need to continue to support the work that's happening there. We also need to continue to push the system
Yeah.
in terms of
100%.
what's being provided for students in Central Falls, but also in Providence and many of our urban cities here
Yeah.
in Rhode Island.
No, 100%, man. People can say whatever they want about Central Falls, but at the end of the day, there's living testimonies of examples of very, very much success. Successful stories out of there. Like Viola Davis, in my
Yeah.
opinion, is the greatest actress of all time. She's from Central Falls, so no one can ever question what that area of the state breeds, because there's a lot of amazing potential and talent out there. But also a question I had in mind for you, Victor, when it comes to the comparisons between the education system, the school system here in Rhode Island and in Massachusetts, right? Because in Massachusetts, you're someone that you were a superintendent in Central Falls, Rhode Island, but you also were a superintendent assistant in Fall River, Massachusetts, right? And you also were a principal in Brooklyn, New York. That's, a wide range of, I would imagine, a type of role. That's a very crazy role. You've experienced it all, I would imagine, when it comes to the education system and dealing with students. What's that biggest difference you would say between Rhode Island and Massachusetts and your time in New York and Brooklyn?
Yeah, so I have to say, when I got to New York in 2002, it was a time when the mayor at the time, Bloomberg,
Mm,
brought in Chancellor Joel Klein to create one of the biggest overhauls of education of all times. And 20 years later, I still stay in touch with a lot of my students, a lot of my teachers, a lot of my colleagues. And that time, they were really digging in to say, let's do something different. Let's bring community in. So, a lot of the ideas that I have in terms of how you connect families, how you connect communities came from that time in New York, where I saw that when you have a student that
yeah,
has tremendous potential, the schools can't do it alone, but they can connect with community, they can bring in resources,
100%.
and we have to make sure that we're doing it in support of those families, with the families, bringing them in to be a part of it. And so I saw a lot of that in New York. I then went to Massachusetts, I went to Fall River, and there I saw how the state supported education. I saw how the state provided, how the state also held schools accountable. And, Fall River, we had a lot of challenges there as well. But I also found that there was a lot of support and a lot of expectations from the State Department. Here in Rhode Island, you see pieces of that. You see pockets. You see it in some places, but you don't see it everywhere.
Mhm.
I think that, you're starting to see some of that in Providence. You're starting to see that with what the commissioner's been doing. But it's just in pockets and is not a coordinated effort. It has not been a coordinated effort that has benefited all of the students. Community isn't always brought in. Families aren't always listened to.
Mhm.
You may listen to some families, but not all. You provide opportunities for some students, but not all.
Mhm.
And so that's what I see here in Rhode Island. And like I said, I've been, a product of the system. I've worked in the system. And so I also have a lot of praise for people who do great work, but I also have a lot of criticisms and a lot of areas where we, including myself, did not live up to the need and the potential of our
Yeah.
students.
And talk to the people, for those who don't know about this, New England Technical Academy, right? The NETA,
Yeah.
the New England Technical Academy, and how that is supposed to be something now to help the Rhode Island education. Break that down for the people out there that don't know, Victor.
Yeah, so we have this big idea, right? That we need to make sure that our students, again, in meeting their potential, in making sure that they have what they need. We came up with this plan through a number of different groups working together, bringing people together, and it is the concept. We people always say, college is not for everyone, and they should be prepared to go into the trades, and they
Mhm.
should be. And I agree with all of that, but my thing is that you, as a high school, have to prepare students for both college and career. And then once that student, as Kayden is about to do, he's at the edge of making his graduation. It's his choice what he does next. But the school needs to have prepared him for college and career, and then he makes a choice. And so what we're doing with New England Tech, and they are the sponsor of this school. This is going to be an independent charter public school that we are proposing to serve grades 9 through 12
Yeah.
and provide three different pathways in engineering. We're talking about drone technology. We're talking about game design, software engineers. We're talking about IT, making sure that we have cybersecurity. We're talking about artificial intelligence. And the third pathways is in health sciences. We're talking about surgical care. We're talking about veterinary care. So these are careers of the future.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that the students are prepared to leave New England Technical Academy, the high school, prepared to go into any of those fields, but they're going to leave there with 1 year of college at least.
Yeah.
So this is completely different. They're going to leave with 1 year of college,
Wow.
and they're going to leave with industry recognized certificates that can then prepare them to go to college or go into the working world. That's up to them. Our job
Yeah.
at the high school is to prepare them for both.
And the proposal, I saw also that the proposal has a 75% of the slots being reserved for Providence, Pawtucket students, correct? Speak about that and the equity and access situation with that.
Yeah. So we're making sure that this high school will be accessible for students that need that opportunity. And so what we said is if we reserve 75% of the seats for students in Providence and Pawtucket,
Yeah.
then the rest of the 25 will be available to the rest of the state. Students will be able to enter through an open enrollment process
Yeah.
that all students, but we're going to make sure that we are specifically looking for multilingual learners, differently able students, students that haven't had that opportunity. You have the Met, for example, we just talked about. You have Davis, people have talked about. They have waiting lists
Yeah.
because students want these kinds of schools. This will be another opportunity. And right now we're in the process where the Department of Education is reviewing the proposal. So we're hoping in the next couple of weeks to get the proposal in front of the K-12 Council, the Board of Education. So right now we are really on a campaign basically to say,
Wow.
this is something good for our students. This is going to be great for our state. These are the careers of the future.
Yeah.
We are working with over 40 different partners in industry and community who have said, these are the careers of the future. This is what we want to prepare our students for. And we're also making sure that they're prepared to go to college with
Yeah.
1 year of college credits that they can transfer anywhere they want, not just New England Tech. They can take those credits anywhere to higher education. So
And-
that's the proposal.
And with the proposal also, have you seen any feedback? Two things. Have you seen any feedback from the families, the students? What's the feedback so far? Are people excited for this? And on top of that, what are some of the people that have made this also maybe possible? What are some of the partners in this, if there's any at all?
Yeah. So right now, I'm so happy to say that we have received tremendous support from families. I will tell you that right now we have over 1,500 signatures
Wow.
of people who have said, yes, we want this school. We have, like I mentioned, the 40 industry letters of support. And that includes some of the biggest employers in the state. Electric Boat.
Mm.
It includes, G-Tech, IGT.
Yeah.
It includes Brown Health. So we have connected with a lot of these companies, and they're saying, this is the type of school that we want.
Yeah.
And they're supporting this work. But the biggest thing has been, to see this over 1,000 signatures from, community members, from families, from students who want to see the school become a reality.
And what do you see, where do you see this 5 years from now, this new school, right, NETA? What do you see the future of this happening 5 years, 10 years from now? Let's say it gets approved in the next month. What's the plan, like 5 years along the line, if you have already mapped out?
Yeah, so we want to start with 550 students for the next 4 or 5 years, making sure that we have a good plan, that it works for everyone. Make any tweaks along the way, right? Because that's
Yeah.
part of any startup. And then from there to add another 500, we want to serve a little bit over 1,000 students by the year 2035. We want to make sure that the students are leaving New England Tech High School with that year of college that we promised,
Yeah.
and that they're leaving with industry credentials that they can go to work right away if that's what they choose.
Nice.
So that's what we see. And basically, we want to be able to have a model here in Rhode Island that proves that our students are ready to do both college and career if the high school prepares them and provides them with the access. You know, when New England Tech is doing, for example, one of the biggest reasons we went to New England Tech and asked them to partner with us is so that we can use their their state of the arts labs.
Yeah.
Right? They have some of the
They
best
got new
labs
stuff
here
there. Yep.
in the state, and we don't need to create a whole new infrastructure. We don't need to build new labs. They are willing to let our students be partners with them and be able to do their work in their labs. So that's another great and exciting part of the school.
And we also have in the building one of the students here of Rhode Island right here. This man is representing the Met High School, all the way from Providence. Kayden Xavier, correct? Talk to the people real quick, Kayden. What is your relationship with Victor? What was the introduction to him? Give people kind of a background.
I was introduced with Victor through another nonprofit that I work with, Stop the Wait Rhode Island. And
Okay, nice.
CEO and founder Janie said, Victor was looking for somebody like you to help him just promote the school.
Yeah.
And that's how I got in contact with Victor.
Nice. And for those who don't know, over the weekend, right, we have this senior here from Providence, Rhode Island. There was a brand new op-ed published at the Boston Globe where this man right here, Kayden, he wrote, why Rhode Island needs more hands-on tech schools. More Rhode Island public schools should have the opportunity to experience, things in engineering, health sciences, information technology. Talk to the people real quick about this op-ed, this article, Kayden, you being the person writing it, and what's your opinion, right? It's rare that we get an actual student in here to talk to the people of Rhode Island, so I think it's a dope thing. I think people need to see this, need to hear this. So we have a senior right here reminding people, a senior from the Met High School, Providence, talking to the people. Kayden, why does Rhode Island need more hands-on tech schools? Go.
I just think we need more hands-on tech schools because we need more people in these growing fields of engineering, with the rise of AI and more technologies, and, medical fields aren't going anywhere. And I think that these are just careers that, we should push more of our Rhode Island students to, go into for the future of Rhode Island.
Yeah. Do you see? Well, you are at the Met, would be considered technically one of those type of schools, correct?
Yeah.
And what's your experience at the Met? For those who don't know out there who haven't ever heard of the Met in Providence, Rhode Island.
My experience at the Met, I've loved it so far. It's a great school. It's really supportive. My internship, I had a couple, and what's great about the Met is you can switch in and out. And you're never really stuck in one thing. So, I started off thinking maybe I want to be a mechanic. I like cars. Let me work on a car. And then I found out, that's not the move. And then
it's harder than it seems.
Yeah, it's and then I started getting into healthcare, and I was at a physical therapist office for a little bit. And then I was like, I kind of like computers. Let me intern at the Rhode Island Computer Museum. I was set up with this opportunity, and that's an opportunity I'm really grateful for. Shout out to the Rhode Island Computer Museum. Great people there. I love it over there. Right now, they're moving from their Warwick campus, and they're going to, I think, North Kingstown. But over there, we would learn about AI and we learned to solder. We learned a bunch of technical skills. And one thing I liked is we actually gave back to the communities in Rhode Island. So we would teach students in elementary schools, like 3rd and 4th grade in Providence and Barrington, and another one in Cranston. We would teach these kids coding. We do little coding workshops.
Wow.
And it was great. I think that was a great experience, seeing kids just have fun with coding and enjoy it so much. We've had teachers come back, be like, oh, can you guys do this again? My students loved it. Can you guys do it again and again? My students are asking me to do this during recess to learn coding and code more. And I think it's a great experience, seeing kids in communities, I've been involved in, enjoy it so much. I had one kid, he was like, you look like you could be my cousin. And I think that was just a great experience. And then right now, I'm back into, maybe I want to do something in the medical field. So right now I'm getting my CNA certification.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Congrats on that. Congrats. No, that's a lot of money in that. It's especially, I mean, God forbid there's another pandemic, but I know during the pandemic, anyone in the CNA nursing field, medical field, the traveling nurses were making a lot of good money, because of the fact that they were, essential, they were necessary for everything that was happening to help people. Um, but Kayden, remind the people, how old are you again?
I'm 17.
17
Currently.
years old. 17 years old. Already more mature than half of the people I know in my generation, in my age group. It's crazy. I love that. I think there's a lot of benefits to having a student dealing with other students, someone of your age, dealing with people in your age group when it comes to helping them with career paths, education. I think that's something that's very significant because of the relatability factor, right? Someone older can come in, but I feel like when they see someone that's younger, closer to their age, maybe exactly their age, I think the relatability factor helps them actually be more comfortable. I would say so. I wish there was someone my age back when I was in school that would come in and talk to me about or remind me, hey, there's other ways. You don't have to do. You can learn. Things more technical, hands on. There's this way, not the standard always. Suit and tie office. There's other ways to actually build a career, especially independently. But I didn't have that. But then we have people like myself. I love going to schools and speaking to them. And people like yourselves. Already you are young, already in it, but you are helping people. So I commend you for that.
I think you did send in a video to my school also.
Oh yeah, probably last maybe 2 weeks ago, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Like a month ago, I think.
Okay. Yeah. I think it was party with Rami there. Rami, she's like a DJ, female DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I did that for her. Yep. Shout out to her. No, but yeah, I think people need that. I'm always about that. That's what I stand for. Like, kids come up to me and they tell me, they watch me. Their parents will come up to me like, oh, they want to be journalists, podcasters, YouTubers. And I think that's the day and age that we're living in where they see that there's more possibilities than a stereotypical thing. So I think when it comes to doing these type of schools, I think it's necessary. I think it's definitely necessary because that's what we got to do. We got to help the youth. If they're leaning towards a direction, which is naturally going to happen, I think that we got to try to, help them and facilitate that transition. And with what you guys are doing, and hopefully, everything goes well with you. For you, I think this is going to be something that's going to cause a lot of change for the future of this state, Victor, and Kayden. So I appreciate it. And what's your involvement at all, if anything, with NETA specifically? Or are you going to help out? I know you're going to be you can't go to that school, obviously, right now.
Graduated by then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're hoping to bring him back at some point. But, one of the things with Kayden, he's the perfect example, right?
Yeah.
Of the student who goes into high school and says, oh, maybe I want to do auto mechanics. And then he says, well, let me go into this computer field. And now he's like, I want to do nursing. And I think you had told me you want to go into Rhode Island College maybe and study nursing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the point is he gets to decide.
Yes.
The role of the school is to prepare him. And, when I first saw Kayden, he was testifying on behalf of the school. And that's when I first met. And then he wrote, so he's already advocating for those younger students. He's already advocating. And I think that's, my role as I'm, older now and exiting in the next few years. It's Kayden that we have to focus on. It's what is good for him, not for Victor, not for me.
Yeah.
It's what's good for Kayden. And so that's what this school will provide. And I believe that, more students are looking for those opportunities that you can say, there's not just one path. It's not one size fits all.
Yeah.
It is providing them with an opportunity to really look at all the things that are out there for them.
No, 100%. And since we have you in the room, Kayden, what's we have a high schooler in Rhode Island in the room, a senior. What's a message to any of the actual students, let's say in high school right now, also in Rhode Island, that you would want to share? Any words of advice? You are in your senior year. Some of the people out there are looking at this. If they're seniors, they're having some of the best of the time of their life, some of the most stressful time of their life. Right? They're choosing if they're going to go to college or not. There's also a lot of freshmen that have a lot of anxiety their first year, maybe looking towards a senior like yourself to get some advice, some words of encouragement, someone to maybe be a mentor in a sense. What's something you can share with them if they're watching right now this video and looking at you, Kayden?
Something I would say is if you're given an opportunity, just take it. A lot of the stuff I've done, getting involved in, projects like this with the schools, just take an opportunity that's given to you. If somebody's like, hey, I think you should try this, you don't got anything going on, try it.
Yeah.
Nothing can't hurt you.
Yeah.
You know, just take advantage of as many opportunities as possible. Like sometimes I forget like how many things I'm involved in.
Yeah.
You know, but worst that can happen is what you have a good resume.
Yeah, I know, right?
There you go.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true, especially as if it's like if you get a certain jobs that you try them out, you're not fully happy in, you build that experience, that background, that resume, like you just stated. I think that's a good way to look at it. Any last words for the people of Victor, and especially anything you want to highlight when it comes to specifically Rhode Island Education Collective?
So the collective is always looking to partner, right? So we want to partner with families, students, educators, and community. We are looking for people who want to make a change,
Yes.
who want to make a difference in our education system. This school, New England Tech Academy, is an example of the work that we're doing. And so we are really looking for, like Kayden, this was an opportunity for us to connect and do something together. We are a newer nonprofit here in Rhode Island.
Mhm.
We've only been around for a year and a half. But the goal is, how do we make sure that every student in Rhode Island can go to a great public school? That's the goal. That's the work that we're doing. And I will invite anybody who is interested in partnering with us, in working with us, to reach out to the Rhode Island Education Collective. Just look us up, send me a message on Facebook or anywhere that you need to find us. But the role of the collective is to really build a team of people who want to make sure that our young students and that families have opportunities, that families who are going to be the ones making decisions have options for their students. So look us up. And right now, we are working on this campaign on getting the New England Tech Academy approved. If anyone is interested in joining us on this campaign, we're going to be making sure that the Board of Education, the K-12 Council, has information that they see that there are people who want to see this become a reality. So if anybody is interested in becoming a part of the New England Tech Academy team, we're looking for you, and we'd love to have you.
You guys heard it here first right now. Shout out to the Rhode Island Education Collective. Shout out to my guy Kayden. Shout out to Victor coming through the podcast, stopping on by. When your team mentioned, oh, he wants to bring a student, I'm like, hell yeah, like why not? Like that makes it even better. I love having student representation, especially those that are not shy. I've had some of them, come in here, clam up. Kayden, you're a professional. Huh? You gotta pat yourself in the back. That was pretty good, man.
I was.
No, you
There
did
you
good.
go.
I thought I was
There you
gonna
go.
freeze
You did
up.
good, bro.
I got scared for a
No,
second.
you did good. You did good, man. So you guys have it right there. Rhode Island Education Collective. Shout out to them. What's the website again, Victor? Where can they find anything for this specifically?
It's rieducationcollective.org or Acción para la Educación.
Acción para la Educación.
Ahí también lo encuentran.
Para mi gente hispana aquí también en Rhode Island, actívasen ahí. Rhode Island Education Collective. Now back to the show. Appreciate y'all.